get everything up and running for tonight. Shout out to you guys that's up in the space early. Let me go ahead real quick for my people over there on YouTube that's going to be coming in. Make sure you guys click the notification bell. Make sure you go ahead and share, like, comment on tonight's broadcast. Shout out to my people that's coming through in YouTube land. Shout out to my people that's over here in Twitter land. I see my girl Stephanie just popped up as well too. So shout out to Stephanie. Everything Descendant, what's going on? Like I say, we weren't live yesterday, guys, but we're in the house tonight. Definitely glad to have everybody. Definitely glad to be back since Thursday. So shout out to you guys that decided to come up here early and join us. I know it's been a lot going on in the news cycle. As always, a lot going on in the culture world, and we're definitely glad to be here to touch up on a little bit of something tonight. So like I say, once again, shout out to all our people who always support and come through. And of course, I know you guys know about the situation last week with Julianna Margulies. And we're going to be touching up on that. She was talking hella noise. She was talking. Like, I don't know what's been going on lately with these celebrities. But you know, they really been going after black people about this whole war that's thousands of miles overseas, something that has absolutely nothing to do with black people, but we're constantly getting people throwing black people names in there, saying you're not saying enough, you're not doing enough, we did this, we did that for you, you guys are ingrates. Why aren't you writing us a thank you card every day for everything we've done for you people and stuff like that? Y'all gonna just let us get treated like this? We ain't forget how we've been treated. We're gonna remember those who ignored us. I mean, all kind of like threats and stuff have been, you know, just pretty much aired out there through the media. People have a lot of talking points that they've been talking about lately, feeling like, hey, these Negroes ain't doing enough for us. They're just sitting there laughing and having a good time, and they're not speaking about the situation going on. Like this is, and then it gets to the point where you talk about we've been brainwashed and all this kind of nonsense and stuff as well too. So we got to touch up on Miss Julianna Margulies tonight as well too, because like I say, this is a talking point that your boy, and we did a space on Michael Rappaport, what, last week, the week before last week, we touched up on him and his nonsense he was talking about. We also even talked about the former basketball player Mari Stoudemire a few weeks ago, you know, when the actual conflict was really starting to, you know, rise up, and he was sitting up here talking about, I guess because he played ball overseas, that, you know, black people weren't saying enough, and this was Black Lives Matter. We spoke up on this and we spoke up on that. So we got a lot of people that's pissed off with black people. Ton of people pissed off with black people because they feel like black people are ingrates. So we're gonna touch up on Miss Julianna Margulies. I see originals up in the spot as well too. Shout out to DJ. I see DJ over there in YouTube land as well too. So DJ, I know you get a chance, you'll fall through. But yeah, guys, they're going on these little podcasts, some of them, and they're saying stuff. And then she came back and she issued an apology. Matter of fact, up on the Jumbotron, I have the actual article up in the Jumbotron. You know, it's from NBC News, her apology towards the end of the article, and we'll touch up on that. She gives a little half-hearted apology. I also put the actual poll up in there too. I took a poll, and I want to get everybody's opinion about it. Let me see if I can find that poll. That's a second on the right-hand side. For my people that's on YouTube, that poll is in the Newstoter community, so you guys can vote on that in the Newstoter community. And this is what the poll says. Should black people accept Julianna Margulies' apology? We got 46 votes so far here on Twitter. Got way more than that, I think, on YouTube. So far, we got 11% says absolutely. 54% says hell no. 28% says she can shove it. 7% says doesn't bother me. So, guys, when you get a chance, go ahead and vote in that poll. For those that's on Twitter, for those on YouTube as well, go to the community tab and go ahead and vote on that as well, too. But definitely go ahead and vote on that poll, guys, for you guys here on Twitter. And make sure you guys retweet it out as well, too. Retweet that out as well. What's up, D? She says she had to break herself. Yeah, she had to do something. Let me go ahead real quick, guys, and touch up on that article. Like I say, shout out to my people coming in on both Twitter and YouTube. Of course, we're live streaming. For those that's over there on YouTube, guys, make sure that you go ahead and share out tonight's broadcast, like, comment, all that good stuff. This is from NBC News. It's up in the Jumbotron on Twitter, and it's up in the description. The link to the actual article is in the description on YouTube. Julianna Margulies apologizes for anti-black rant. This is curator Newstoter.com platform. From NBC News, it says, during a podcast interview on the war between Israel and Hamas, actor Julianna Margulies asserted that black people should have been completely supporting Israel, but have been brainwashed to hate Jews. I'd like to know exactly who brainwashed black folks on this. The claims that are just going viral were delivered on November 21st episode of The Back Room with Andy Ostray, a podcast described as humorous and honest take on politics and pop culture. The conversation was on the war and the Gaza Strip, and Ostray brought up the U.S. and the Holocaust, a 2022 documentary by Ken Burns. Margulies, who is Jewish, jumped on it. It should be mandatory watching, especially for the black community. If I may, because Hitler got his entire playbook from the Jim Crow South, she said. Margulies starred The Good Wife on CBS and Apple TV's The Morning Show added the Nazis were watching how the Jim Crow South were treating slaves and said, oh, great call, let's do that playbook. That's what we'll do to the Jews, which is also why in the civil rights movement, the Jews were the ones that walked side by side with the blacks to fight for their rights because they know. And now the black community isn't embracing us and saying, we stand with you the way you stood with us. Margulies added that Jewish allies died for the cause of civil rights, but decades later, as the Israel-Hamas war ramps up, Democratic voters, and specifically black voters, have been less emphatic about expressing support for Israelis versus Palestinians. Where's the history lesson in that? Who's teaching these kids, she asked, because the fact that the entire black community isn't standing with us to me says either they just don't know or they've been brainwashed to hate Jews. And when you've been marginalized so much as a community the way I feel we have, isn't that when you step up? She added, this country would be up in the uproar if bus drivers had walked out, stranding about 900 area people from Detroit area Jewish group who were trying to attend a march for Israel in Washington, D.C. last month. But because it happened to Jews, for some reason, it's laughable, she said. Margulies also mentioned in a flyer for screening of black lesbian films on campus at Columbia University in October, a message shared with the flyer online read, Zionists aren't invited. While doubling down on her messaging, the organizer of the event told the New York Post that it did not mean all Jewish people were disinvited. And as someone who plays a lesbian journalist on the morning show, I'm more offended by it as a lesbian than I am as a Jew, to be honest with you, she said, because I want to say to them, you effing idiots, you don't exist. Like, you're even lower than the Jews. A, you're black, and B, you're gay. And you're turning your backs against the people who support you because Jews, they literally rally around everybody. Margulies has not responded for a request for comment by NBC News, but issued a statement apologizing for her words. I'm horrified by the fact that the statements I made on a recent podcast offended the Black and LGBTQIA plus communities I truly love and respect, Margulies said to Deadline on Friday. I want to be 100% clear. Racism, homophobia, sexism, or any prejudice against anyone's personal beliefs or identity or against anything, to me, full stop. Throughout my career, I've worked tirelessly to combat hate of all kind and anti-Semitism, speak out against terrorist groups like Hamas, and forge a united front against discrimination. I did not intend for my words to sow further division, for which I sincerely apologetic. Yeah, so she apologizes for all what she said after she got checked. After people got online and people started complaining and going in on what she said, that's when she got apologetic. Now, it's crazy. Like, this lady's married to, and she's sitting up here and I know she plays a character, I guess, on one of these shows that she's supposed to be a lesbian or whatever, but you're talking about A as a lesbian. But first off, lady, you're not even a lesbian. You're married. So you're playing a character. I don't know what you're talking about, but you're not a lesbian. The fact that she mentioned that, hey, this black person that is a lesbian is even basically lower on the rung than she is. A, because you're black. B, because you're a lesbian. B, because you're gay. She's telling this black person that you're lower than Jews because A, you're black. B, you're gay. So, she had all kind of things to say. Now, the real reason she's apologizing It's not so much about what she said to black people, but she went ahead and she said something to the wrong group. She said something to the LGBTQIA plus community, and that's why she's apologizing. If this had been if this was just simply for black people, she would have gave a little half-hearted apology or whatever, and but because she said something, she offended a group that's really considered marginalized, and somebody that has not quite the clout that they have, but similar clout. She had to come up and offer this apology. And once again, black people are minding their own business. Black people worrying about how we gonna pay our rent. You got a car note, how you gonna pay that? How you gonna go ahead and get braces on the kids' teeth? Worrying about how you gonna, if you got a lot of black people worrying about if they got enough savings and stuff in the bank, what they gonna get their kids or family members for Christmas. Simple things, insurance, every little thing you can think about. The last thing black people are worried about is a war that they did not start over there in the Middle East since we've been alive. And I said this before in other podcasts. There have been, I don't know how many fights and wars and conflicts and issues over there in the Middle East since all of us have been alive. So we're not worried about something we didn't create, something we're not funding, something we have absolutely no power in stopping. I mean, what are we supposed to do? I mean, what exactly are black people? Are we supposed to? I guess everybody feel better, and they feel like we were more useful to everybody if we went ahead and we did a march on DC to stop this, the treatment of what's going on over there. We have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with this conflict over there in the Middle East. Nothing. You got a group of people that have been going at it, like I say, longer than anybody in this space has been alive. We have nothing to do with it. We're not funding either side. We're not taking up. And it's like people, we're not loud enough. We always have to be the torch bearers and carry the cross for everybody else. It has nothing whatsoever to do to, and it seems to me like we've been the only group in America that's been picked out too. Now, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see anybody saying anything else about any other group. Nobody's calling any other quote unquote minority group up the task on why y'all not doing more, why y'all not saying this, why you letting this go, why it just seems like the only group that everybody's sitting up here trying to pick at are black people. Nobody's saying nothing to any other group. They're not saying anything to white women. They're not saying nothing to Asians. They're not saying nothing to Hispanics. They're not saying nothing to the handicapped. The only group that any and everybody's worried about why you guys are so silent on this issue and why you're not coming out in strong support of Israel, it seems to be by black people. Like, what's up with all these other groups? Why are we the only one that's getting the smoke? Like I said, we over here minding our own business. Nothing whatsoever to do with this. Not $1 have we funded. Now, yes, they take our taxpayer dollars, and there's nothing we can do about that. And they go ahead and they fund things overseas. They fund wars and, sell weapons and everything else. That's nothing we can do about that. We have absolutely no power, no control over what they do with our tax dollar. But we're the ones getting the brunt of all of this. It's just a lot of anger. Like it's a lot of anger, a lot of attitude. And I'm glad that it's coming from her as well, too, because we've seen it with some of the men. But now we're seeing it from a woman expressing anger, her dissatisfaction with black people. And like I said, yeah, they and this was the first time that they, and really the only reason that she's really apologizing, and the only reason that the actual LGBTQ got even mentioned in the actual quote unquote rant that she had was because she was talking about a black woman that was black and was gay. She didn't single out. She didn't say, the LGBTQ is just sitting up here and y'all not doing anything whatsoever. She mentioned this one black person, a black woman that's on a college campus, and there we go. One particular person, and everybody's getting blamed for it. And like I said, I don't see anything with any other group. No other group has the answer. And I've seen politicians, I've seen people online, black people sit up here. Everybody that I could think of, have, whether you support them being over there, you support this or support that, people condemn, what would actually happen when you send pictures of people, innocent people being hurt and stuff like that. Nobody's sitting up here and applauding for the most part. I mean, just like everybody else is an individual, and nobody wants to say, if one person goes out there in a group, if a white person does something, that's not representative of all white people. So if you do have a black person here, a black person there that agrees with this or agrees with that, that's not every single solitary black person. So I don't understand the actual like I say the anger, the channeling, the anger that's just against black folks. Like, y'all ain't doing this, y'all ain't, and it's always about what we did for y'all. We did this for y'all. We did that. We was the first ones to do it. We did, like, all of, like, like, it's basically people telling you that you owe them, that you actually owe these folks something. Last I looked, I didn't think black people owed anybody a damn thing in this country. Nothing was ever given to black folks in this country. So now we got to the point now, people sitting up here and they're talking about all of what they did and how we always helped, how we always stood up for y'all and this and that or whatever. And it's like, man, where is all of this vitriol coming from? Like, literally, like, people are going on that they're getting on their TikToks, they're saying this, they're saying that, they're uploading it because they want people to see it. They want people to respond to it. They want people to know exactly how they feel. People sitting up here talking about they taking lists and they taking notes and they gonna check and then basically like, yeah, we're gonna pay y'all back eventually down the road. People who ain't did a damn thing to you. Like I said, we're the one group that has nothing whatsoever to do. There's never been a history of anti-Semitism in the black community, and I'm talking about as a group or as a whole. So to sit up here and say that people are being brainwashed, nobody brainwashed, and I'm sure nobody in this group, in this chat, has ever been brainwashed to feel a certain way against the Jewish population. So this whole that y'all are just picking on us and or y'all, this or that or whatever, where is it coming from? Like, this is some deep down animosity that's been brewing for a while, and now it's just coming to the surface. That's what it is. This is deep down animosity. Something like this, every time it's an example of somebody being mistreated, the first people want to compare it to is black people. The first people they want, well, if this was happening to black people, like, what in the world is as much stuff that happened to black people, and 90% of it, 99% of it has been just overlooked. And you sitting up here, well, if this was happening to black people, the whole world would be up in arms and everybody be, and if they did this, the world was shut down. You see, if they couldn't do this to black people. Like, maybe you've been living on the moon for the past 50, 60 years. I don't know how old Julianna is, but you've had to been living on the moon, because if you know anything about American history, or for that matter, world history, a whole hell of a lot is going on to black people, and nobody's done one thing to lift one finger. The world didn't end because black people was mistreated. People went on just like it was nothing. So to sit up here and start griping and complaining and whining and just crying the whole time, and these things normally, they're not done. That it's not done. You're gonna have more and more people saying slick stuff like this. She got caught. She had to apologize. Rappaport, he ain't said nothing. Of course, he ain't gonna issue no apology. But when you're starting to have this many celebrities come up and say slick stuff like this right here, people are having these backroom meetings. People are meeting at these country clubs. People are meeting in these secret locations, and people are saying things about black folks. They're harboring a lot of resentment. They're harboring a whole lot of resentment that is getting harder and harder to hide. And like I say, I don't understand, because I can only speak for down south, living down south. I've never remember black people and Jewish people ever being to the point like they were, at war with one another. So this whole thing that, we aren't doing this for them and we're not doing that for them is really, really confusing. It's really, really scary. I know every time people always mention, the two civil rights Jewish fellas that went down there and lost their lives trying to get people to register to vote in Mississippi. So I know people always mention those two, but and that was a tragedy. And they did come, they did try to help out, and that was a tragedy. But you can't sit up here and just and act like that. Black people are just supposed to do this and do that or whatever when that's just not the case. That's not reciprocated. I'm sorry. I mean, and I don't want to say too much because I know this is kind of a touchy situation, and I know you got eyeballs and you got people listening or whatever, which I really don't care. But truthfully, this is just this is wild here. This is really wild. I didn't even see original requesting to speak either, so I just looked down and saw you requesting to speak original. But I'm at a loss for words here. You know, like I say, this is something that's brewing, and this is something that's been brewing for a while. This is like a volcano that you know that's become active that you didn't even know that became active, and now you know stuff is starting to spew. You got a lot of spewing, a lot of a lot of nasty talking points. Brainwashed. Who brainwashed black people? Who who brainwashed black people into doing anything to any of these so-called groups? None of these groups as a whole can sit up here and say that, you know, black people have done this or done that to them. None of them. I'm not talking about you and some individual getting into it. I'm talking about as a group. You've never seen a group of black people with blow torches coming their way to tear up people's property. You never seen, oh, okay, yeah, this is where Asians live at, so we're going to do this to them. Oh, okay, this is where Latinos live at, so we're going to do this to them. You've never seen that. You've never seen that. You've never seen black people do that with other black immigrants as well either. So this whole thing, this whole notion, this whole idea that she came up with, and then she's sitting up here and she's talking about, I'm a lesbian. Like, lady, you're not a lesbian. At least on the outside, you're not. You're married. You're sitting up here talking about you because you play a character on a movie, and you had the nerve to sit up here and tell this black woman that she's lower than you are because she's black. That's the one thing I'm glad she did say that though. So that can kind of ring a bell to some of our black people that's in the LGBTQ. The first thing, she didn't say you were lower than me because you're gay. She said no, you're lower than me because you're black. And a lot of our black people don't forget that, you know, living in the LGBTQ. She didn't say, oh well, you're lower than me because you're lesbian or you're bisexual or you're trisexual or you're a pansexual or any of this stuff. She said you're lower because you're black. That's why you're at the bottom of the ring, and everything else is just the tip of the iceberg, is just the icing on the cake. You're black, okay? That's why you're lower than me, because you're black. This lady actually had a nerve to actually tell somebody this, that you're lower than me. First, and she gave a little talking, and she gave a little points too. You're black. B, you're gay. Like, whoa, okay. Well, let it out. Let them feelings out, sweet pea. Don't hold them back. Say what you truly mean. Say what you truly mean. No need to hide it. You told exactly what you felt. And more black people need to hear that one too. You are black. And you can sit up here and you can talk about you're discriminated against because your gender and your age and this and that or whatever. And you very well may be discriminated against because of your gender and your age and your sexuality. But you're discriminated against something far more than just your gender or your sexuality or your age or whatever. There's a bigger discrimination against you. So I'm glad that she actually said that. So shout out to Julianna. I give you credit for that. At least you went ahead. Now, and here's the thing. You only had, in that little apology, like I said, the only reason she had to apologize to the LGBTQ, it was tied in with the black thing. You know, she really didn't take shots at the LGBTQ. She took shots at black people. But because, you know, she has to tread carefully. She has to tread lightly. And what she said, she had to come back and say, hey, you know what? I don't want to piss them off here either. I can deal with these black folks. These black folks ain't nothing. You know, I'll go ahead, and since I mix it in, I'll go ahead and I'll give them all an apology, and that way they can't say I'm anti this or anti that. So we'll go ahead and we'll take care of it. So, and then you have these trolls that will come up into space and they'll be talking about, well, this group of people discriminate against the most or whatever. And we keep trying to tell people that, hey, this is how we look at it. Race isn't determined by your religious what religion you practice. We know exactly who's who. So people can sit up here and say this person ain't white. Yeah, okay. You can sit up here and say that, but we know better than that. So we got a couple hands up. Shout out to everybody up in the space. I see my girl Stephanie up here, Originals up here. DJ's made his way up in the actual up in the space as well. Too shout out to Carlos and the rest of you guys up in here as well. Mel, what's up? Y'all go ahead and definitely retweet the space out. Retweet the space. For those that have not participated in the poll here on Twitter, go ahead. It's on in the jumbotron on the right hand side. I think it's the second on the right. Go ahead and cast a vote and go ahead and retweet it out as well too. And make sure you guys retweet the space out as well too, folks. Let me go ahead and get to Miss Stephanie. Stephanie, what's going on?
Oh, you can let Original go because he was before me.
No, he didn't have his hand up though. I don't know if Original. Did you have a hand up, Original?
No, she was before me.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Original. Hi, DJ. Hi, everybody. This is quite an example of what Black New Yorkers go through with that specific group of people. If anybody knows in New York City, you can ask the Black person what their dealings are with that. It's the entitlement for me. I'm glad she got called out. She's a has-been anyway. She was a thing of the 90s, and that's it. After her decade that she reigned, it was all over. So she's just trying to make a name for herself, her and Michael Rappaport. I'm just disappointed in our Black entertainers, our Black politicians and stuff like that. See, people gave these people a lane to be disrespectful to the Black community. And I couldn't be more disappointed than I am listening to that, listen to her make that statement. Number one, if it wasn't for the Black soldiers of World War II, where would you be at? You had slaves. Say that again.
You got it.
Exactly. And see, that's the thing. People feel like they have a way to be disrespectful, and we're not supposed to react to it. We're not supposed to respond to it. And it's kind of like really pissing me off because now what everybody should do, right, is any project or any program or any commercials, anybody that sponsors this woman, we should boycott it. We should not be buying their products anymore. Nothing. Because I'm not obligated to support Israel. I'm not obligated to support Palestine. They're both racist, okay? I'm not going to sit up here. I'm not saying all, but I'm just saying it's just too many racist, too much anti-Black racism that comes from both of these communities for me to even support them. And then I had to curse somebody out last night. They sit up there and they literally think that we're low IQ, we're stupid, we don't know, we just don't know about civics, or we're anti-Semitic or whatever. It's just an excuse. You can't critique these people. You say one little bad thing, they want to have you on an apology tour. You apologize 500,000 freaking times. They want you to make a $500,000 donation to their organizations. And then they might forgive you after they break you down into practically nothing. And I think it's wrong. I mean, at some point, we have to put a stop to it and say, you know what? Later for this. This stops. You're not privy to not being criticized either. And this is what they don't like. They don't like the fact that they're being critiqued so much and looking bad. Now, since they want to talk about our children not being educated, the majority of the teachers in the school system in New York are Jewish. Why do you think we have so many days off from school every year? We have so many days off because the majority of them have those holidays, those Jewish holidays, and they take off. So a lot of us have to take off those days as well. So, it is what it is. They do this all the time. And I'm tired of it. So I'm glad everybody is speaking out. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. Yeah, we used to get those down south. If you're in South Florida, we used to get those Jewish holidays off as well. I think we used to get two of them: Yom Kippur and what was it? The other one? Rosh Hashanah,
Passover. It's a whole bunch of them.
I think it was one with the R, Rosh Hashanah or something like that.
I think that some holidays they take off. We take off, and some holidays they'll have a substitute teacher to come in and fill in for the teacher.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate you. Definitely. And you're up there in New York, and you guys definitely have a big Jewish population. So I definitely feel what you're saying. And down south in South Florida, we had a pretty big Jewish population down there as well too. Original, what's going on? How you doing tonight?
Well, he's Black Power and lineage-based reparations. The news heard I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. You mentioned about the civil rights workers that were killed, but let's not forget now. When that happened, one of the Jewish preachers, he said that the hair of one Jew is worth more than 1,000 black folks. So see, these people, they have never uh, been a friend to black people. They've never been a friend or an ally to black people because they have been a so-called friend and a so-called ally to black people because see, a friend wouldn't do what they've done to us. This group of people have done nothing but undermine our efforts to progress ourselves forward in this country. And they sit back and laugh and try to make us think that they are fighting for us when they are not. And as I said before, Newstoter, in the 1910s and 20s, Jews did more blackface than any other demographic. And the reason they did it is because they wanted to take the target off of their backs and put it onto ours. But they have never been a friend to us. And let's look at some of this stuff. You've heard of this book called The Holocaust Industry, Norman Finkelstein. Well, someone had posted sometime a few weeks or months ago, whereby he had made some anti-black racist comments. And see, he did that book about the Holocaust industry. And I'll admit, I bought the book, but I wouldn't buy another book by him. But see, they do this stuff, and they know that they can get away with it because, as Stephanie said, none of our black elected officials or high-profile black people will come out and chastise them. And that is a huge issue with me because these people, they will see what happened. Newstoter is this, from what I can see. Okay, they claim that they had this alliance with us. No, they had an alliance with our forebears. Even if they had an alliance with them, and so because black people are seen as the moral compass of America, if not the world, they needed us to co-sign what they was doing so they can go ahead and do what they wanted to do. But see, since we, the people darker than blue, did not jump on board and say, "Oh yeah, we were saying no, this ain't my fight. I ain't got nothing to do with this." As Stephanie said, both of these groups are anti-black racists. They do not like us, and so I don't have a dog in this fight. They can blow each other off the face of the earth. I don't give a crap. That is not my problem. But you're not going to use my moral energy to help you destroy somebody else. That's not, no, you're not going to get away with that. And so, and see what happened to sort of is this. See, they were under the impression that all they got to do is just call us and we just show up because of what, and I think it's because of their religious belief, because see, our forebears, they believe this garbage about them being this chosen people and that and this, that, and whatever, and that they were enslaved in Kemet, which both of them are nothing but lies. And so they felt that they will always have that. But see, we are doing to people what they have been doing to us. I was doing so when I said you was going to do this, and I could because the internet only has certain things. There's this guy. His name was C.R. Patterson. He was one of the black men to build automobiles in this country, and so he was catching some issues from some of the other the white automobile makers because his cars was great. So the way I heard, because see, the internet sometimes don't give you the in-depth conversation. Because I was at a lecture years ago, and it was said that so they came to an agreement where C.R. Patterson, they said that okay, he could make these school buses, and the school buses were just as well made as the cars. And so when he transitioned to the spirit world, so his offspring went to these same people saying that they wanted to renew their contract, to continue to make the buses. They were told, Newstoter, that well, our agreement was with your father, not you. Get out. And so that's what I'm telling these Jews. Your whatever alliance you had with black people was with our forebears, if you had an alliance with them. So you don't have an alliance with me, because I'm not rocking with you. I'm doing to every demographic what they have been doing to us. No, you do not have. No. I am not going to allow you to come out here and use me as a stepping stone. And then once you get what you need, you drop your drawers and you crap on it. No, that's not happening. That's not going to happen anymore. And let's also not forget, Newstoter, that this was back in the 70s. This guy named Alan Baki, even Cynthia McKinney had spoke on this. She said because we did not, the people of that time did not put up a fight against this Baki guy. He sued the California University system about stating that why are so-called minorities getting preferential treatment to get inside these schools. And I think he wanted to go to this medical school and he couldn't get in. And so, but see, here's the other issue. So I want to know, what are they? Are they white? Are they Jewish? Because they also claim to be white, Jewish. They claim to be a minority. So he sued as a white person, and then they said once he won the lawsuit back there, I think the lawsuit was won, I think in 77 or 78. And so, but yet, see, they've been doing this stuff to us all along. And so, but they never thought that we would do what we're doing now. But this is not my fight. I don't have a dog in this fight. And so those are the things. And let's not forget how, what's her name? Sarah Silverman. She walk around in blackface. See, they do stuff to disrespect us. They are never punished. That stank girl, I was changing channel one night, and she was up on, it was one of these channels she was on. I'm like, okay, so why is she still on TV? See, if a black person had done something to them, just like how they are going after Kanye again. But see, Kanye is kind of a different issue, though. But anyway, but Kanye had made this song that he screwed a Jew. You know what I'm saying? And so now they're upset. But then I look at all that degenerate music that they were forcing some black people to make back in the 90s and early 2000s, dehumanizing black people, and particularly black women. So don't look to us. We're not coming to your rescue. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done with you. I have nothing to do with you or for you. You are on you. I'm gonna do you like you do us. You are on your own. And let's also not forget that our beautiful queen sister, Miss Ida B. Wells Barnett, she was at the founding of the NAACP, and she only wanted to advocate for black people. She was kicked out, and they brought this other white woman named something Overton or something like that, Mary Wright Overton or something like that. They brought her in. And also, Newstoter, let's not forget, this guy, Edward Blum, who just won this case regarding the Asians and affirmative action in higher education, he's of the Jewish belief. You see, they've been doing this stuff all along, but they portray themselves as being white. And see, a lot of stuff that has been done to us as a group has been done by them portraying themselves as being white. And then we're thinking that it's white people. Well, yes, but they are white. We're thinking that it's just a regular old white Billy Bob attacking us when it is them. They've been doing this for decades. So don't come to me looking for a get out of jail free card, because I'm not giving you one. I am done. This is insane. And that's not. And you remember when they was going after Kyrie Irving, Minister Farrakhan made a video where he had said that these Jewish preachers And I know what they call it, but I'm being deliberately disrespectful. These Jewish preachers invited him to a dinner, and they wanted to have a talk with him, but they wanted him to denounce that book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. And so after the dinner and all, they had to come. So this guy pulled out he pulled out some papers, wanted Minister Farrakhan to sign them and agree to them. And he said, well, listen, everything that's in that book came from your archives, you see. And and I'm glad Minister Farrakhan had the dignity and the respect for himself as well as us to say, he told them that he could not lie to his people. And see, people like, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they'd have just bailed out, took whatever. And like he said, and they told him, said, wouldn't it be great if you could be favorably written about when you make your transition? He said, well, people are going to say what they want to say. See, at least Minister Farrakhan has integrity when it came to them, because he knows how foul and filthy they are. And everywhere they go in the world, people run them out of their country because they bring in the drugs, the vice, all of that. That's what they bring in to destroy these countries, the people, and community. Nobody wants them in their country. Because truth be told, initially they was going to put them in Uganda, and then because the British was in control of that part of Africa during that time, but for whatever reason, I can't remember all the details or whatever, but they decided to put them over there in Palestine. And so, this is insane that they think they can step up to us, and you go demand that I get out in front of a camera or just stand in solidarity with you when all you have done is undermine my efforts to progress myself forward. You have got to be out your damn mind. There's no way I would stand in solidarity with you. I already know what you're like. You throw a rock and look up like you didn't do it with your hands behind your back. Oh no, we are hooked. We are aware of that, and we are no longer going along with that. So people just need to understand that there's a new black man and woman in town, and we ain't taking on nobody else's junk. If you don't want to deal with your old junk, that's on you. Bring it on in, Sister Mel.
Hey, what's going on, Mel?
Hey, shout out to everybody in the room. Shout out, Original. Yeah. I was just thinking, because I just saw another post about the effort, the push to make it a constitutional violation to pay reparations. So before we can even get the thing in place, again, they're coming up with all kind of laws and ordinances and whatnot to prevent us from getting it. And by them taking this action, they realize, and been realized, that they realize they owe this debt. So my thing is, at this point, especially with this Julianna Margulies, and I hate it, whatever show she was in, whatever series she was in, it was a good series. I watched it. But I'm be honest with you, that was before I was hip to the reparations movement and all that, because had I'd have been somewhere reading. But anyway, my point is that every time we read, see, or have the opportunity to respond to the narrative about Black Americans not supporting the Palestinians, we need to be bringing up reparations as a direct reason for why we're not supporting that. It isn't our fight, but since they want to call us out and specifically identify us, then okay, well, here's a specifically identified issue that we're trying to get pushed. And for them to be in Florida, and there's a lot of Margulies, if you will, in Florida, y'all supporting that shit. You guys are supporting, they're supporting the laws to ban us from getting reparations. So under those circumstances, why aren't Black Americans in this fight? Why aren't y'all paying our reparations? Why aren't you guys supporting us in our quest for reparations? And that we just need to use every opportunity. We need to throw that back on them, especially the next time Rappaport opens up his racist mouth. And I'll end my plane with that.
Thank you, Mel. And I want to ask you an original real quick. DJ, I got you up here. I know you had your hand up. Go ahead, and I'll get back to Mel and an original. Of course, I don't know if DJ's still up here. Okay, DJ may have left back out the space, but I'll ask you guys. Why do you think, and Stephanie too? What I mean, what's the issue? Why are black people the only group that seems to be targeted, like about not doing anything or saying enough? Why is it? It's solely black people. They keep mentioning black people, black people. Why aren't they mentioning any of these other minority groups? They're not mentioning, Latinos or Asians or anybody else. It's just black people. Why do you guys think that seems to be the case?
Let me jump in real quick on that one. I think the reason for that is because they need something. See, right now, because we're not supporting the Palestinian peace, when they get done with this, when they put this thing to rest, because they already know what they plan to do. When this thing is finally settled, as it will be, they're going to justify our non-involvement with that for every other reason that they are, for every other game plan that they have that's set as our detriment. So this is just going to be for them to say, well, see, y'all should have supported us when we was in here trying to rock this Palestinian issue. Y'all didn't do that, so boom, we're not blah, blah, blah. Palestinian issue or not. So that's the only reason why they're called, I think. That's my view.
All right. Thank you, Mel. Let me go ahead and get to Stephanie and original too. I want to hear your thoughts on this as well too. But go ahead, Stephanie. You got it.
They never really had our best interests at heart. It just goes to show you that we're a lot more powerful than we realize we are. We are the voice. We've suffered through slavery, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, mass eviction, segregation, everything. We've been through it all, and they see that struggle and they want to pair that struggle with us. So they figure, okay, well, since we were with them during the civil rights, you was with us during the civil rights, but you was only doing it for your own thick agenda. You wanted to empower yourselves and elevate yourselves above what we were doing, and which you did. You became successful at it. They make no bones about what these people have done to us and how they made us look when they started building Hollywood. Who you think created Birth of a Nation? If you've seen that movie, it was horrifying. And because of that movie by Goldwyn and Mayer and Warner Brothers, the membership for the Ku Klux Klan had rose. So these are the type of people that we have to deal with. The church bum, the guy that found out that he was actually Jewish. So these people never really gravitated towards us unless it was something in their interest. So I'm like, listen, give them the same energy that they've given us. And another thing that I want to clear up, they wanted to pass a law to force our children to go to the Museum of Tolerance for 5 years straight, every year for 5 years. That's against what I believe in. You don't force my kids to do anything, okay? If that's the case, then you take your children to the Slave Museum, because as far as I'm concerned, and from what I understand and what I researched, you guys had paid for some of the ships to come and pick us up. And a lot of you guys had slave plantations as well. You guys had a lot of slaves. So getting back to that, we need to put the whole truth out there. There's no more lies. Everything is out in the open. Everything is blown off the lid. You're not going to keep pushing us around anymore. You can't do that. It's not going to work anymore. And like I said, everything is for their own sick agenda. So they're on their own now. So if anything happened with us, you already know why it happened. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Shout out to Nightfall. I see you over there in YouTube world. Nightfall, shout out to you. Original, did you want to touch up on that? Why does it seem like black people are the ones that's been constantly having the fingers pointed at them in terms of, not being vocal enough in the support of Israel?
Well, see, like I said before, like I said previously, see, they need our moral you know, how can I say, our moral cachet to support what they're doing. Like I said, we are seen as the moral compass of America, if not the world. And so, if they can get us to go along with their degenerate debauchery, then that kind of puts them in the clear. Say, well, these people here who have really suffered, and they have suffered enormously, but they are still in support of us, helping us to do what we want to do. You know, that's what that is. And what Stephanie said about all these images that they how they have portrayed us for decades. Let's not forget. I also cited several weeks ago. There's a guy named Mordecai Manuel Noah, and he is the Jewish person who started the minstrel. You know, depicting us in all these the distorted images of us, and to which we are still suffering from the vestiges of that today. We're still dealing with that today. They did this, and they did all of this. And Mordecai, he was a staunch proponent of slavery. Yes. So don't come to me and tell me what I need to be doing. You need to deal with yourself and deal with what your demographic has done to mine. Because I have nothing. I don't have anything to give, and if I did, I wouldn't be giving it to them. So they need to understand that, because everybody want to come to us when people get in trouble. Everybody want to come to us because they know the pain, and they know that our pain and suffering will be used to cover them. Well, I'm not sorry. I stopped saying I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I am not giving up anything anymore. I'm going to give you the same pejorative energy you've been giving me and my demographic. So if that's how you feel, and see, but like you said, Newstoter, when she called the sister out for being black, and then when she realized she called her gay, then she understood that she needed to come and make an apology. Then and only then. So don't come to me looking for anything, because I'm no longer giving. I'm doing the same to them as to what was done to C.R. Patterson, the car maker, when he made the buses, and they wanted to re-up the contract to continue to make the buses. And they said that that agreement was with their father and not them to get out. So whatever alliances they had with black folks, that was with those black folks, and it wasn't with me or anyone in this space, as well as others. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, Original. Real quick, let me read a couple comments from YouTube over here with Nightfall. He was saying Julianna and the rest of them are pissed because without Black Americans, their actions are not moral or legitimate. He also said for the first time in history, Black folks aren't caping for anybody. We are letting them HYON, hold your own nuts, and that has them shook because it's new. And they can kick rocks and talk about World War II. Black Americans fought and died for their liberation, even when we were considered third-class citizens over here. Okay, David said apology not accepted. So I'm like this right here too. And I guess too, people feel like with Black people that, like I say, that you've endured so much over here. So you're I think they think that our main thing for living is just to go ahead and take up the calls for any and everybody. That if we're not for us to be who we are, we have to go ahead and we have to, because throughout history we've done that. I mean, no matter what the group was over here, we've always, fought with other people and tried to help out as much as possible and stuff like that, even though it was never reciprocated. No matter how much we did, try to help other people and this and that or whatever, it was never really reciprocated towards us. So like Nightfall is saying, you got to the point now, and you see it with a lot of Black people, we're taking the same mindset that every other group takes. Like, hey, we're worried about us and us only. And people are like, well, that's not the way you guys are. That's not the way you guys think. You've never been the type of people Why are you changing? Why are you like that now? And it's like, hey, because it's best for us. We need to go ahead and seriously focus on us. And when we start to do that, people say, hey, y'all are being selfish and this and that, whatever. But the country was built on selfishness. The country was built on the needs and interests of certain groups of people, one group of people in particular, and everybody else that came over here say, you know what, hey, whatever happened to these people, that got nothing to do with us. Let's keep our nose up out of it and worry about ourselves. So now you got black people saying that. And like I said earlier too, how we have absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with what's going on over in the Middle East. They've been fighting since I've been alive in the Middle East. When I'm dead, they're going to be fighting. Everybody in this space, before you were born and after you die, they'll still be over there fighting. It's going to always, as long as this world is turning, it's going to be conflict in the Middle East. There's never going to be peace in the Middle East. You're going to always have a group of people over there, groups of people over there fighting for what they consider is theirs. This is our homeland. No, this is our homeland. In actuality, it's neither one of your homelands, if you want to be totally honest here. It's somebody else's homeland that you guys came and colonized, but that's a whole nother discussion for another time. But, you're going to constantly have that. And then you're going to have governments throughout the world that's going to go ahead and that's going to funnel money and weapons and everything else off to these different groups as well too, because they want to have some say in what's going on over there. Let's not forget, until the actual the oil runs out, that's where the bulk of the oil is in the world. I know people say, well, you got oil over there in Russia underneath the ice. Yeah, it's underneath the ice, not accessible, not the easiest thing to get, but the bulk of the oil that we use, and you're gonna always need the Middle East until actually that oil runs out. Everybody wants a piece of what's over there, and they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna fund these countries and stuff like that. And they've been funding them, the United States and everybody else. So hey, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's not. And this conflict here, when this dies down, another one will come back and brew as well too. Because like I say, it's been that way since I've been alive, and since all of you been alive up in this space on YouTube. It is not. When have you ever known a 10-year run where it was just peaceful over there in the Middle East? There were no kind of conflicts, anything. Forget just an all-out war. There was no conflicts. There were no terrorists being taken. There was no bombing. It was none of this. No fighting. It has not happened. If it has, I sure like to know. Somebody give me a time frame during a 10-year period where you didn't have Iran, Iraq, or Syria, Afghanistan, that they weren't at each other's throats. When has this ever happened? So now people want to sit up here and blame Black Americans who have nothing, no connection whatsoever with Israel. Black Americans have never sat up here and said anything negative as a whole about Jewish people in this country. But it's like, hey, you got some of your celebrities and some of your stars that, hey, if they can say certain things about Black people, sly things. Like, here's the thing, you can't say anything sly about them because you got to come up and apologize. But people can say sly remarks about you and not have to do anything. So it's like Nightfall said, man, it's not our fight. It's nothing that we can do about it. We're not the ones supplying any of the things that these groups need over there. Nothing. And why do you need, and going back to what Julianna said, if we're lower than her, and basically, if we're lower than her, then we're nothing, I guess. But if we're lower than you, why do you need us to actually say something? If we're that low on the totem pole, what can somebody that's powerless and weak and at the very bottom of the barrel, what can they do? Why do you need them to co-sign anything for you? If we're that low, if we're certainly lower than you, so why do we need to say anything? What? And not only that, since we're talking about history, like I said, for hundreds of years in this country, Black people were slaves and stuff like that. Before the country was founded to when it actually was founded, how many times do we have people run up on these plantations and free us? How many times? How many times did you run up on a plantation and when that overseer was latching on to people with that whip, did you grab his hand and say, no, you can't do this? How many people came? How many freedom fighters came and actually rescued Black people off of them damn plantations? Off of the auction blocks. How many of them actually helped get their families back together after they were sold different parts of the county and even different states and stuff like that, never to see their loved ones again? So it's always about we did this, we did that, we did this, we did that. It's a whole lot y'all didn't do. It's a whole lot that y'all sat around and just let happen and then lift up one finger. And then it wasn't to the part where it tore you up so bad that you couldn't sleep at night. You couldn't do anything. All of a sudden now it's like, hey, you're not doing this and you're not saying that and you're not standing with us. All 40 million of us should just come out of our house and just stand and fall our knees and say, yeah, we stand with you guys. We're there for you. I mean, this is like some kind of fairy tale here or something. That's not how real life works. We have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with that. Have not done anything to harm you guys. I know people won't believe this or not, but some of those billions of dollars that the United States has given you year in and year out, well, guess what? Some of that is coming right from our pockets as well, too. I know people won't tell you. They'll tell you that black people don't pay taxes and they don't contribute to the society and they don't contribute to the economy, but the 3 point whatever billion dollars that you're getting from the United States, you know, some of that is black money as well too. So if you want, as long as the United States has been given to you, feel free to understand that billions of dollars have also come out of the black community's pocket. You know, not to mention that black people have always supported the Jewish community financially. We've always, you know, from the things that you own, the stores and everything else, the businesses and stuff, right? That we've shopped at and supported with our hard-earned dollar that nobody wants to talk about. We've always supported. We've supported your businesses more than you've ever supported ours. We put more money into your we put more money into your pocket than you've ever put in ours. Now, people you'll have some black person that come up here. Well, they did donate $1 million to this. Man, shut up. I'm not saying they did not. I'm saying we've donated. We've contributed billions to the economies of all of these different groups that have a lot of vitriol here. And like I say, now it's cranking up. Something that has nothing to do. We're not the terrorist group, you know, that was bombing on y'all over there. We had nothing whatsoever to do with it. So stop trying to put the blame on us. Stop trying to shame us. You know, I've heard plenty of people and black people in Congress that are standing by you, that have said stuff. I don't know exactly what more you want. You know, what more is it that we can do as a people that we already haven't done? Plenty of people have condemned the attacks on both sides. Plenty of people say, hey, you know what? This is not right. This is not this. This is whatever. And people are still whining. People still complaining. People are still trying to put the blame on us for everything. It never grows old. When in doubt, blame the Negroes. And that's the mantra of this country, unfortunately. When in doubt, if there's one group to be blamed, it's them. Like I said, I have not heard any beef whatsoever with any other group. Not one group have they said, you know what? We feel like they'll say some college kids and this and that, whatever. But the only people that they call out by their actual class or color have been black people. Nothing for Hispanics, nothing for Asians, nothing for the LGBTQ, nothing for any other group except black people. They're the only group. They're the only ones that, you know, have caused harm here, even though they haven't done anything. I guess the fact that we're not all rushing to volunteer to join the military to go over there and join in this military conflict / war, then we're not friends. You know, what more? Like, what else is it that you guys want us to do? So I'm at a loss for that one right there. I don't know what else they want us to do, but hey, we've done our part for caping for groups and stuff like that. We supported more groups than they've ever supported us. And I don't care if people talk about that they formed this organization, that organization, or whatever. Organizations that were formed, a lot of times we were just the front man. We were just the face. And we actually, you know, weren't calling the shots or anything else like that. So I know you'll have some people say, oh, they did. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Like, stop already. So like I said, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. They hadn't mentioned any of those groups. And that's what I'm saying. Like, none of those groups have got, he said, it's always us. They haven't mentioned Asians, Latinos. That's what I'm saying. They haven't mentioned none of them. Not any of those groups have they mentioned. So you know what? And if they came out and said that, then it'll be an issue. They say, well, you know what? Asians are just sitting up here and they're not coming out here in defense of Israel or the LGBTQ or the Latinos. No. It's like, you know, everybody feels like they're punching down when they're hitting black people, you know, and that's what they aim for. It's like a grown man swinging on a fifth grader, you know. No, I feel comfortable fighting this kid in elementary and middle school more so than I feel like fighting a man of similar stature and size. So let me just go ahead and beat up on the kid because, I know I can win this battle here. So this is exactly what they're doing. Like they're punching down here. But now, we still haven't got to that point. But pretty soon you're starting to have more and more black people actually punching back, fighting back. Like, look, man, take that elsewhere over there. If you got an issue, first go address the actual United States government. That's who you need to take. If you got a beef, that's who you need to go ahead and talk to. Then after you get through talking to them, talk to all these other groups as well, too, because before a lot of these groups came into the country in large numbers, we were the ones that were vital to actually, here in the South especially, vital to actually supporting your businesses and everything else, too. So if you want to go ahead and you want to talk about this person did this and then do that, go ahead and take that over there to them. Go to the government first. Tell them that they're not giving you enough taxpayer money. Then go ahead and go to these other groups as well, too. But, leave us out of it. We got nothing whatsoever to do with that. We absolutely nothing. And people are tired of being the scapegoats here. So we got Trouble. What's going on? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. I'm doing all right. I'm sorry. I've been in and out of the group. I have so much stuff I got to get done. So I know everything that I've got to say has probably already been said. And so I won't have to go on a long soliloquy or a rant tonight because you generally, for some reason you're in my head all the time and you generally, speak my thoughts before I get a chance to say it anyhow. So I hope everybody in the house is doing well tonight. Shout out to my beautiful black people I see up in the cut. I am sick of these people, and I am sick of our own people who have the ability to thwart these talking points and put them in their place, not doing it. It's a way that you can do these things and not sound like me when you're doing them. You can say it in an intellectual way or a nice way to let them know that we don't owe you anything. We don't owe you an allegiance. Why are you continuing to ask a people who you claim have no power? You act like we have no power. So if we don't have any power, if we are a powerless people, then why are you continually coming to us wanting, I don't know, what do they want? A pat on the head? Quick pat on the boogie? Do they, you want a hug? But you're always coming to the black community and wanting us to say our allegiance to you. And it goes to the mindset because it's almost sort of like a mother and a child where you expect your child to have undying loyalty to you. But where these Jewish people are concerned, it's more like slave master and slave, where you will deny your involvement with the slave trade, but at the same time you're still acting like we are your property. How dare my property go against me? How dare you not have my back? Do you know all that I have done for you back in the days, 400-500 years ago? Do you know? And so it's really what I've been looking for is to see some black people that's in the news, which we know we're not going to do because you get in the bag and you want to keep getting the bag, and you start getting the bag and get good. You want to get more bags, But I've been looking for somebody to come out and ask them, like when they were asking Cory Booker, why what's up with the African Americans? How are they feeling? Because we're looking out and we're seeing people saying A, B, and C, and he was, trying to steer them towards our children. Well, you got to get to them while they're young, get them right out of college and take them over to Israel and show them your history and blah, blah, blah. And what he really should have said was, well, what about the Hispanics? What about the Asians? What about these other groups of people? Because you all aren't concerned about anybody else but us. You are hyper focused on black folks like we got the power. And maybe that's because you know what it was that you've done to our people. And maybe because it's that you know that your skirt is now being lifted and your time is just about up. You know who's getting ready to be your new master. And you want to make sure that the new master who's getting ready to come into their inheritance and rulership is going to look upon you favorably, but you getting ready to get this goddamn work. You know, and I'm sick of people not being honest. I'm sick of our people not speaking loudly and clearly for us. When are we going to stop being scared of all of these people who keep, you know, like you said earlier, they use us as a whipping shit. I said I wasn't going to be long-ranted, but I can't stand these mugs. And every time I think of something, it just, you know, but it's like black people, they always use us. And everybody pounds on us because we are the easiest to pound, and everybody acts like we owe them something other than an ass whooping. And that's the only thing that we owe these mugs. I apologize because I forgot you said we can't do that anymore. You know, but and I'm going to get off of my soapbox about it. I just wanted to rant right quick, but shout out to everybody in the group, and y'all stay up, and let's not worry about these people so much. Let's keep giving them this work as much as we can when we're online, and they're coming out the box, and homegirl can keep behind apology, because your publisher didn't really give an apology for you. And so if you don't come back out yourself, and I hear the words coming out of your mouth, the words of a publicist saying, well, she feels really bad, it means absolutely nothing. Just as publicly as you came out and did a show and went on your little rant, you need to publicly come back out and go on another show and go on an apology tour. And even then, I still don't want your apology, but it would feel a little bit better if you did something like that rather than sling some words out to your publicist to say, oh, well, she feels really bad. No, what you feel like is that you got backlash that you wasn't expecting to get. You expected us to be quiet about it, or maybe you expected to get a little bit of backlash. And there's always that apology after it happens. It's like when you give your child a whooping and then you turn around and apologize, and they sit there looking at you crazy like, but you whooped me though. I still got these whips on me. You know, the whooping over, your apology don't mean nothing now because I still got the bruises from, you know what I'm saying, that butt cut. You know, so it is what it is. And Newstoter, shout out to you, brother. Glad to see you back this week.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Stephanie hit me up in the DM. Stephanie says she can't get up in the space. I should tell her to go ahead and make sure she's got her phone updated real quick. Let me see what's up, 'cause I'm not sure what happened with Stephanie, but original, go ahead real quick. Let me see real quick with Stephanie, and I'll be right back. See if I can try to help her get back up in the space. You there, original?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, but like I'm in agreement with everything that Trouble said. You know, we don't owe anyone anything. You know, everybody every other demographic has been riding our coattail for decades, and now they see that some of us are already woke, but there are more of us that are going through an awakening, and we are letting them know, the gravy train is over. We are no longer accepting any. We're no longer accepting any resumes for you to ride on our coattails, because we've gotten out there, done all this work, and every other demographic. Because you look at and let me say this too. If now I'm not voting in 24, but you see now this group called APAC. They are going after the people they call the squad. So I would just like to say to people, I know, and I will understand if you don't want to do it. Trust me, I really do, because I'm not voting. But if you live in a district, or you know someone that lives in a district where one of the squad, the people who are identified as the squad, because this APAC has targeted all of them, and because they offered Hill Harper, I think it was $20 million to run against the lady Rashida Tlaib, or the one in Michigan. She's Palestinian. But if you live in a group, if you live in a district with one of the squads, vote for that squad member, just to show them that their money means nothing. Because back back in 2012, Nick raised more money than Barack did, but Barack got the vote. But see, it doesn't matter. Yes, you need money to run a campaign, but if you don't get that vote, you're not going anywhere. But I would like to see these people, especially the ones that call themselves, go after them. Show what they are doing, how they're trying to only get people into office that want to pitch their platform and do what they want them to do. That in itself is not a democracy. They want to control the government. They want to control everything. This is why, I've said before, this is why people have always run them up out of their country. Take your junk somewhere else. And they always come with this, oh, but we're these chosen people. Do you have any factual evidence to show me that you are a chosen people? No, you do not. Because I don't believe what's in your so-called religious text. But I don't believe you or your religion. This is insane. So that's what these people are trying to do. They always want to control what others do, and they come out and they do disparaging things to others, just like Dr. Tony Martin. He was a professor at Wellesley College, and so he had a topic on the Jewish issue or the Jewish question. And so some of his students were Jewish. And so they went home and told their parents that, hey, this black man is talking about us. So they came to the school and they tried to get Dr. Martin terminated. But you know what? White folks stood up and said, oh, he's not going anywhere. So y'all ain't, who do you think you are that no one can discuss anything about you, but you can come out here and say what you want to about other people and act like you are Teflon and nothing's gonna stick to you. And that's what people are doing now. They see now that you see, even with what's going on over there in the Middle East, what they call the Middle East, I'll say that. The world is calling them out. And see, again, that's why they needed up and with them so that they could use our I can't think of the word I wanted anyway. They could use our moral compass. They could use our moral compass to protect themselves for for the evil that they're doing. I mean, yes, okay, you were attacked, but what you're doing now, it's just you already bring. What more do you need to see? That's why they need black folks to stand with them. But no, I'm not standing with you because I look at there were certain times whereby some of these people, they were saying all kind of stuff, and I started putting stuff up there how they was treating the Ethiopians. See, they don't want anyone to know the truth, and they get real quiet when we start putting stuff in there. Because I've told them that we've never had anything but a parasitic relationship with them. They've never been an ally to us. They've only been parasites. And now that we've decided to pull those tentacles, out of our skin, and we're no longer allowing them to siphon our essence away from us, they don't know what to do. And so people just need to understand that we just keep minding our own business, and doing what we need to do for ourselves. Because some of us have known for a long time that we could not depend on these people. And if you look at a lot of these organizations that are funded by them, all those organizations have to toe that line. And see, and I've said this before, Dr. King was a member of the NAACP. But when you go to their website and you start looking for stuff regarding Dr. King's tenure at the NAACP, it's null and void. And I talked with someone who knew Dr. King personally, and they said that the Jews kept trying to slow him down, saying that he was moving too fast while he was in the NAACP. That's why he left them and started the SCLC. But see, they've always promoted that NAACP to us, and we all remember when that former Clippers owner made all those racist statements about black folks. And then he told this one black boy from the NAACP, get out there and tell them that I'm a good guy, this, that. And the fool went out there and did it and got himself fired. Because it showed exactly what the NAACP is and how they have been using black people basically as a crash dummy to push their own agenda. They've never been our friend, and they never will be. And see, now that they know that we know, those of us that know, we are going to, we're going to, as they say, keep that fire. We're going to keep that fire burning. We're going to load a log. We're going to load a log on it every hour, make sure it doesn't go out, because we don't have any connection with these people, none whatsoever. So they need to understand that the gig is up. You will no longer exploit us and get away with it, because Kanye, that song that he's made, they're trying to call him anti-Semitic, but they wasn't anti-black, producing all that pejorative music about black people, and particularly black women. So no, we no longer care, and when we don't care, your stuff begins to fall down. I see Stephanie. I see Stephanie's back up here.
Yeah, she was able to. She just hit me up in the DMs because they had for anybody. If you got Android, I know we had an update today. It depends. I guess it depends on your phone as well too. They've been, sometimes you have them throughout the week, but I know I had an update today. So you guys may want to check for updates, because I think maybe Stephanie was having an issue with that. But definitely check for updates and see if your phone has a new update. But thank you, Original, for holding that down. I was just because I know Stephanie was having some issues trying to get back up in the actual space as well too. And I mean, listen, I'm in agreement with most of what everything was set up in this space / podcast tonight. Like I say, I don't be surprised if you have another star come out and start talking greasy or whatever too. Because here's the thing: like, certain groups of people get canceled in this country, and certain groups of people don't. Some people can just come back and say, hey, you know what, I apologize, and they back. They're never ever really canceled, and be all kind of reasons and excuses. Oh well, they were just doing a skit. Oh well, it was just a show. They was no. Now other people, they mess around and say the wrong thing. They never come back. They never get that second act to go ahead and shape up their career. They're finished. So this chick here, let's see if she loses her shows or what she said. She's got a couple shows, and so let's see if they kick off her show. When it was Kanye, and like I say, and you can say what Kanye said was wrong, and I'm not going to disagree. What's his name did? Kyrie did was just simply click retweet something out. So, but people lose millions of dollars in endorsements and everything else, advertisement, sponsorship, you name it, because they say the wrong thing or they do the wrong thing. But a lot of other people, they say stuff and you see them and they may kind of hide them for a year or two. And next thing you know, they still on TV, they still touring, they still doing this, they still doing that. Mel Gibson, and remember Mel Gibson said all kind of things, but in the early 2000s and stuff about Jewish people. And you're like, damn, I remember when that happened. I said, damn, boy, Mel Gibson finished. He done. Yeah, well, just give it a little bit of time, and Mel Gibson came right back. Now, he may never be the level of star that he once was, but Mel Gibson ain't canceled to the point where he can't show his face or he can't do anything. Mel Gibson still can get on movies and commercials and stuff, this and that or whatever. So it just depends on who you are. Certain people, like I say, almost impossible to cancel out, unless they just do something so horrific that even the people in their back end say, you know what, yeah, we got to distance ourselves from this person right here because, they're bringing all of us down. Outside of that, they'll still go ahead and let them still stay afloat. They're like, yeah, just let so-and-so chill for a year or two or whatever. We'll bring them back 2 years down the road. We'll kind of start off slow under the radar. We got a few projects that they can do, make some money. They're not going to be squarely in mainstreams, in the eye of mainstream, but they'll still be around. Eventually, people forget about it and we'll bring them back. So that's how they look at a lot of this stuff right here. Stephanie, what's up? You got everything straightened out, I see.
I got everything straightened out. Thank you. I thought I caught a direct hit because I was, saying some things, but It goes to show you they've done that to Michael Jackson too. Somebody recorded his conversation. I forgot what year this was. This was back in the 2000s, the early 2000s. And he was caught talking about that specific group, and he called them parasites. He called them parasitic. And they put it out there. They made him apologize. And then there was another thing where he had on his song, he said something about Jew me, and they made him take that out of the song. So it just goes to show you how much power these people really do have, despite the fact that they want to deny it and say, no, we're just like regular people. They look at us as golems. You know what I'm saying? That's how they look at us. Like, we just don't have a will of our own. We just going to do what everyone else tell us to do. And those days are over. So whatever project she's working on, whoever the sponsors are, don't even buy their products. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. Anybody else wants to speak tonight? Because we're not going to keep it open too much longer. Anybody else wants to say something real quick, let me know. If not, we're going to go ahead and close it out for the night. We'll be back tomorrow. We're probably going to, since again towards the end of the year, we may start just doing 3 spaces a week. And then next year come back a little bit stronger and get back, resume to the actual 4. But we'll probably start doing 3, trying to close the year out. So you guys may see us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. What's up, Aunt Lai? You got to go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, Black Power, Reparations. This is my new page because I'm blocked on other ones. I can't get on any spaces. I just want to say, she said what she said. She meant that with her whole chest. And I feel like the blaming people or them trying to force us into fighting for their cause is hilarious to me. And I feel like it's honestly kind of like I can't even explain the type of brainwash that it is by them trying to force us into accepting or fighting for or being for. It's like they really want us to be back slaves again. They really want us, but y'all need to do this. Y'all need to do that. Like, why do they care? They don't care about speaking out for our injustices. Because I didn't see none of them saying that we deserve reparations. I don't know if just maybe it's me. I don't see none of them saying that they need reparations or fighting for us in any way, shape, or form. But I see a bunch of them telling us that we, quote unquote, don't have their back. And they have always had our back. And I feel like because they run the media, they have this narrative that they did things that they didn't even do. And the thing about history is they're trying to force and create this, oh, we were there for, no, y'all wasn't. Ain't never been, like, it's just ridiculous to me. But I like it because I like people. I like my races out in the open. I want you to, I don't want you to be covered up. I don't like no undercover races. I like my races out in the open, so I appreciate it. But I feel like we as a people should not be surprised by how people actually feel about us. We should just act and plan accordingly, and don't fall for the brainwash of them wanting us to fight for their causes when I don't see none of them fighting for ours. Not none one of them said anything about reparations or anything that have anything to do with us, but they're expecting us, knowing that we can't even get our government to pass pro-black legislation for anything for us. So it's hilarious to me. Like, it's hilarious. And I'm going to dock my boat and hold my chair.
All right, Aunt Lai, I just followed you on your new page, so definitely everybody follow Aunt Lai. She got a new page, so definitely go ahead and follow her. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I wanted to tell Aunt Lai that they actually said that they don't support reparations for African Americans because they said it would be too difficult. And what happened was over 100 years ago, and those people are no longer alive. So yes, they did speak out on it. There's several articles that backed their claim in their statement, and this was written by, I think, rabbis or some type of scholars that says that they don't support it because there's no strong backing of it, and a lot of those people they're all dead. So yeah, they did speak on it, but they spoke about why we shouldn't receive it. even though it was tragic. Thank you.
Oh, my bad. Well, on that point, then, in the words of my mama, her favorite quote is, "Mother had you, mother loved you, and mother you." So yeah, that let you know how I feel about them. I feel exactly about them how they feel about me. And we don't care about y'all causes, and we don't care if you care about ours, because it ain't none of your business, because you don't qualify for it anyway. And I'm gonna fold my chair, so I'm gonna keep my boat right the fuck here.
All right.
I apologize for cursing.
I was gonna say, yeah, try not to drop the F bombs, but go ahead, original, you got it.
Yeah, just to back up what Stephanie said. See, back in the 90s when reparation was getting hot, I was in California at the time, and it was said that well, maybe we could work with the Jewish community and they would assist us in obtaining reparation. And they said no. They said flat out no. They would not help us. And I think part of the reason is because they know that they had a hand in enslaving us. And so, as I said before, we have only had a parasitic relationship with these parasites. They only want to use us for their own benefit. And then when they want to pull us out when they need us, and then when they get what they need, they kick us to the curb, and we just sit there until it's time to stand up and defend or support whatever garbage they are pushing. Well, like I said, I am not sorry. I try not to say I'm sorry. I say I am not sorry. So you get what you get. What you have been doing to us now is biting you. So and like they said when they talked about these movies, yeah, they are the reason as to why our image is what it is today. Let's not forget when C. Dolores Tucker back in the 90s, she was going after the entertainment industry for the debauchery that they was putting out there regarding black people, but particularly black women. You didn't see any of them. You didn't see any of them, or you didn't even see any of these high-profile black folks standing up with C. Dolores Tucker. None of these civil rights organizations acknowledged her. None of these black elected officials would stand with her. She was out there by herself. And then it was one white guy. His name was he was part of, I think, one of those Bush's cabinets or something, but he had already left that. But he stood with her. She had to go to a white person to get some support that so-called black men would not stand with her and help her defend black people. And that's a damn shame. So we have put in our dues, and now we are about to collect on those dues. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, original. Appreciate that. You trying to say something, DJ?
Yeah. No, I'm just agreeing with original. Don't forget what Tupac said, on saying about C. Dolores Tucker. So there you go. You know what I mean? She got what she deserved on that note, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I'll be quick. I know you're trying to close out. Julianna, you know what I mean? You a hoe, you know what I'm saying? Your mama a hoe, your grandma a hoe, all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? We don't owe y'all folks nothing. Just like Sister Steph said, hey, you have to see how these folks act in real life when you in New York, Jersey, tri-state area. They do not like us. They only look at us as POSs and slave labor. That's it. Something they could get out of us for cheap, you know what I mean? Or not for free, you know what I mean? A lot of the times we fail to realize because we don't be around these people how they really act towards us in real life. So, yeah, the other thing is, too, you do got the capers, you know what I'm saying, the house Negroes that'll throw their cape on for these people and say, hey, yeah, Israel being attacked, all this other stuff. Well, these people funded the slave trade. They the ones that gave Europe, Italy, Spain, and all these other people the money to ship us over. So when they say, hey, slavery was so long ago, we can't do reparations and all this other stuff, they the main ones that finance, they own all the banks. They also are the main ones that control the government. They control all the news media. They control everything. So this is why Kanye, we thinking he losing his mind, but he really just spitting the truth. See, a drunk man, I tell you the truth, 24/7. but you ain't understand what he said because he was upset while he was trying to tell you. And you think he drunk, but nah, he's just spitting the real. So we can no longer allow these people to attack our black celebrities, even though some of them may be cold. Slavery was a choice. You know what I mean? We need to just go ham on them just as much as they be trying to go ham on us. You feel me? We could correct Kanye on our own time. You feel what I'm saying? Let him go on. It's too late. Unleash the beast. Let him go on walk this dog. You feel what I'm saying? And whatever they say back towards him, we just gonna back him up. Oh yeah, well, what about this? Hey, it says right here, Jacob, Isaac, and Joshua, you know what I mean, own slave ships. Are these your ancestors or elders? Julianna Margulies. You know what I'm saying? Do you know these people? You know what I mean? If you so worried about us not having your back, give me a list of white supremacists. Give me their names, their addresses, their phone numbers, so I can pull up to their house. You want me to be on call with you and help you out? Do me a favor first. Give me something first. Give me some collateral first. Maybe I'll say something on your behalf then. You know what I mean? You for reparations, Julianna? No? Whatever? Okay, well, I guess I ain't going to say no on behalf of Israel. But I guess we could kind of say something on behalf of Palestine. Them folks ain't got no guns like y'all got guns. So y'all over there just spare bombing them. You know what I mean? Like it's target practice. It is what it is, but we already know those Palestinians, they anti-black too. So all y'all gotta hold your own nuts. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what I mean? We've been tormented and tortured by these same folks. Ain't none of these folks ever had black people's best interests at heart. So therefore, meaning y'all gotta be on your own and fight each other and continue to fight each other, like you said, for the next 10,000 years, as long as you leave black people alone in our black state. Because the moment you start to cross that border and come terrorize us, we're gonna wipe you off the map. Then. You feel what I'm saying? Let's go.
Go ahead, Stephanie, real quick.
Okay, sorry. I just want to say, don't forget about the gentrification process that's happening in black neighborhoods across the country. So, especially in New York, we know who the large majority of the real estate owners are, and they're just buying up real estate like crazy. And I just want to bring out also that there are a lot of fires, mysterious fires that's been happening in a lot of our communities, black neighborhoods. A couple of people died. A couple of people sold their buildings. A couple of people are making threats towards actual homeowners, forcing them to sell their homes. It's not just happening here; it's happening in Jersey as well. Pay close attention to those fires. I just wanted to say that, please. We know those fires are not natural. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. We're going to get ready to go ahead and close the space out on that note. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Twitter and 8:10 on YouTube, guys. Everybody, thank you to all the speakers and the listeners. I didn't actually record the space, so that's my bad on that one. I didn't record the space, so the next one I have to remember to go ahead and record it. What you say, DJ?
It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Right. Good enough.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah, check it out on YouTube. So, on that note, we'll definitely we'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody, be safe. Have a good night and peace.
South family, one love.